Hey everyone, welcome back to our Dream Team chat on a Tuesday.
Yay.
We're back in the new year, 2023.
Wow. Has
Happy
a
New
ring
Year.
to it.
I
Happy New
know.
Year, girl.
Yeah, so good. So good. Back tonight, we are talking about um being social, being present in real life. So
Yup.
earlier today, it's been like a day full of training, which has been amazing. I love these kinds of
Yeah.
days. We had SSD Steffi Malborough on our team page doing a live for us, talking about showing up on social media in terms of branding and figuring out your social media calendar and showing us how we can take the stress off of what to post every day or what we're talking about with our customers and getting that all out on paper and showing up who we are, right, as Scentsy consultants and as people and figuring that out. And it was like
It
gold,
was really
like
good.
so good. She just has a way and I love it. And so we thought a perfect pair to that for tonight's chat would be showing up and being social and being present in your real life, right? Because social media, we were just talking about this earlier, social media is like a big deal, right? And it's so relevant right now. We're
It
still
is.
all, trucking away on our social media platforms and it's great and we're doing the dang thing. But also there's a whole big wide world out there that we could be
Yes.
like, you know,
Yes.
talking to people occasionally and like sharing our business and
Yeah.
like being social. And so that's just kind of the nugget that we wanted to bring to you guys tonight, and kind of touch on and give you guys some tangible ideas that you can kind of walk into this new year having in the back of your mind and hopefully implementing, right? That is the goal, is to put this stuff into action.
Yeah.
Because again, we're coming out of, or we're at this point, I think we're at a pivotal point in this post-COVID world where obviously things are open back up and people are out and they're vacationing and they're doing things and whatever. And so we're now not standing 6 feet apart in a grocery store line. And I literally had somebody right here in the
Yeah.
Starbucks line. So like people are now close enough to breathe on you. So that leaves you with opportunity to talk about your business or open up the door for relationship that could eventually lead to something in your business, right? So yeah, that's our topic for tonight in a very long-winded introduction. So that's fun. Basically
What's
that's
new?
the
That's
topic, I
okay.
know, huh? So what we want to like preface tonight with is just this idea of starting where you are. We're going to give you guys we're going to throw some ideas at you tonight about ways you can get involved and things you can do and things that are going to take a little bit of work and ways that you can put yourself out there. And we do want you guys to hear it, and we do want you to write down ideas or take with you ideas that you do feel like might challenge you a little bit, but that
Mhm.
are totally worth or totally within your ability to do. Okay, but there's this idea of like, hey, what are you already doing? Where are you already going that you could just pivot a little bit and maybe make an impact,
Yep.
maybe make a connection with somebody in the Starbucks line, like had I turned around and literally like bumped into this, she was right here, okay? But had I literally like just like pivoted for a minute and just
Yeah.
like asked her name or I don't know, asked her to back up, maybe that led to something, a conversation or whatever. And so the beginning part of this is just going to be the idea of starting where you are, or where you're already going, I guess, because where you are is behind a computer screen. We're trying to get past
Yeah.
that. Okay. So really easy way to do this is to look at your week and look at the places that you're going. Where are you going this week? School drop off? Is that where you're going? Are you going to take your kids back to school this week? And then once you do that, are you going to go to Target and walk the aisles of Target by yourself for the first time in 3 weeks?
Yup.
Like really, like what are us moms really looking forward to as our kids go back to school? Where are we going, right? Are you
Yep.
going to go get your hair done without your kids in the next couple of weeks? Are you going to go get your nails done? Go get a coffee at Starbucks. Maybe you're going to take your laptop to the coffee shop. Maybe you're going to go over to a friend's house. Like all of these things that we insert in our daily, weekly, monthly lives are places that we could actually be thinking with business mindsets and saying, hey, Are there people around me who I could be having conversations with that maybe don't have anything to do with Scentsy? And that's what I want to stress to you is that it's not that you have to be like, hey, my name is Brianna and I'm a Scentsy consultant. Do you have a Scentsy consultant? Do you know what the like, you don't do that. You don't have to do that, right? But it's all about, what are you doing when you're standing in the grocery store line? I can tell you 9 times out of 10, I'm scrolling on my phone, right? I'm looking at stuff on my phone. So one of my big, like, tangible things, get your head out of your phone, right? If you're walking somewhere, get your head out of your phone. Look up at people and smile. Make eye contact, right? There are places and full of people that you're already stepping into that you could be just having conversations with, right? And so that's going to take a little bit of bold, especially if you're like, all right, count me out. I'm already done with this conversation because I'm not a person who's just gonna like be like, oh hey,
Yeah.
like your shirt, like those kinds of things can be really hard for people to step into and to be bold and whatever. But I do feel like, I'm not an introverted. I don't really necessarily have an issue making conversation with people if I'm in a position like or if I'm like open to it. Most of the time I'm like peopled out, but like I don't have any issue talking to people. I know that people do have, it's a harder time for people, and I get that. What I think comes easier, and especially take Scentsy off the table, okay? Pretend it's not about Scentsy for a minute. What I think is real easy is to look at people and come up with a compliment and compliment somebody, right? Because there is no fear of being turned down when you compliment somebody. There's no fear of rejection. There's nothing else that needs to be done in that moment. Okay. I'm not asking you to compliment them and then ask them on a date or ask them for their number, like that's not what this has to lead to. What I'm encouraging you to do, because not every interaction is going to lead to, a business minded relationship. Not every conversation is going to lead to somebody asking for your PWS. Okay. However, the more you do this, the more you practice these interactions, the higher your probability is, right? You keep your mouth closed, your business is closed.
Yep.
So when you're going out there and you're just complimenting somebody, you do that enough times and pretty soon you're like, complimenting them, and then you're asking them, so what do you do for work? Do you have any kids? Are these your kids? They're so cute. Where do they go to school? Do you live in this area? All of a sudden that conversation happens much more naturally than it did before, right? So this is for people who have a hard time starting that conversation. Start small and start with a compliment. Doesn't it feel so good when a stranger compliments you, because you know that they've got nothing to gain by doing it. And I want you to have this, you don't go out there willy-nilly. And if you see some lady who hasn't showered in 6 days and you're like, I love your hair.
Yeah, like me. You love
Don't
my hair today.
like I'm not saying don't be what's the word? Don't be
disingenuous.
Yeah. Don't be genuine. Be genuine. Okay. Maybe you have to walk the grocery store a few times to find somebody to compliment, but like compliment somebody and be genuine about it, because people know when you're not being genuine. But compliments are so easy to give somebody, to make somebody's day, and the perfect gateway for a potential conversation about anything, right? Because that conversation could lead to your kids, the buddy clip on your purse, things like that, which is what I'm going to get into next. Branding. Okay. And Steffi kind of talked about that today during our social media training this morning. And I love branding. See, I got 2 compliments on my sweatshirt today.
Nice.
Yeah. And it made me self-conscious, because then I thought people were thinking like
you're
actual
an esthetician.
wax.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
no, someone asked me when I wore it once, so are you an esthetician? I'm like, but see, like
that's it opens up
an amazing opportunity too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just don't want people asking me like, like,
just be like, no, I sell Scentsy.
Yeah, I sell this kind of wax.
Yeah.
Don't use it warmed on your body.
Yeah.
Like,
it does not remove hair.
I'm sorry. Okay. So anyways, branding is super, is also another super easy way to potentially start conversations, right? To have somebody start a conversation. For instance, the
Yeah.
sweatshirt that she is wearing. Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
it does.
Right?
Yeah.
People look at it and are like,
People talk to me
"What?
about this all the time.
Yeah. What does that mean?
And
That's
it's
so cute." Yeah.
Jinx.
You really want me to stop talking?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so branding is a super easy way to intrigue people. Okay, when you're wearing something Scentsy, I've had people come up to me and be like, "Oh, are you a Scentsy consultant?" And like, "Heck yeah, I am." Right? Okay, so if it's just a regular Scentsy sweatshirt, that's okay. That's clothing, right? We all know what that looks like. You can put on a Scentsy shirt, you can put on a Scentsy hat, you can wear the stuff. But branding is also having stuff on your car if that's something that you're interested in. I know Erica has something on her car. Jen, don't you have something on your
I
car?
think Jamie does.
Yeah, I know Brandy does. Like putting stuff on your car is a great way to brand yourself. But then it's also, like I said, buddy clips on your backpacks, buddy clips on your purses. What else were we saying earlier?
Like the Popple,
Oh
who
yeah,
who uses those like QR code type things where it's like if you
Yeah.
have a conversation with someone, you could just like ding, or like have your QR code handy,
Yeah.
or like have, which I'm talking about a little bit here, but
Yeah.
like, yeah,
That's
it.
But branding, right? And using that to your advantage. And I don't mean like you have to go out every single day, like head to toe in Scentsy,
Yeah.
but throwing on a shirt, throwing on a buddy clip onto your purse or your diaper bag or whatever, or having your QR code handy, paired with being able to have conversations with people. And especially too, if people start talking to you, I know sometimes I'm guilty of this where like somebody will start talking to me and I'll like answer and like shut down the conversation basically in my answer
Yeah,
because I'm
same.
like not in a people-y mood. Try to be mindful of that, right? Because again, those conversations, you never know where they'll lead. Sometimes, most of the time, they'll lead to nothing, but you only need 2 or 3 really great conversations to lead to the best customer you've ever had
Yep.
or the best teammate that's ever blessed them. Okay.
Yep.
Like all of those things literally can happen inside of a grocery store or at the post office or your kid's pickup line or your kid's sporting event. Like all of these opportunities that we have, we're stuck in our phone or we're not paying attention or we're not engaged or we're just not looking for the
Yeah, it's like we
opportunity.
forget that every time you go out and every interaction, while they're not all going to lead to Scentsy, they are all opportunities
Yeah.
for something,
Right. Right.
you know? And so we do have to be mindful of that and know that those opportunities are out there. But if we're not looking or we're not able to recognize them, then they're going to be missed opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not to say, let me just like say this. I do get peopled out and sometimes I don't feel like talking to people and I just want to go to the post office and mind my business. Okay. So I'm not asking you to go out every single day. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to do that. Okay. But I am asking you to encourage yourself to, if you're going out somewhere 5 days a week, maybe 3 of those days, you make it a point to compliment somebody, bring up a conversation, brand yourself, like open up the door for those potential opportunities. So yeah, that's
Okay,
where
that
I
was really
going.
good. And so with branding, to take it a step further, or like this opposite, or not opposite, but additional side of this is being prepared, right?
Mhm.
So we can be prepared with the sweatshirts, buddy clips on our bags, that's easy. Grabbing a buddy and handing it to your kid, like, don't you want to take Olaf with you today? That's easy. Okay. That branding is easy. Talking to people, maybe not so much, right? Maybe, but that's something you can work on. And it's not something you have to like have things with you, right? I'm talking about being prepared. So that means it could mean the pop socket, right? The QR code. What is that thing called? Like Popple? I think that's what I'm
I
getting
ordered
confused
one
with.
and never got it.
Interesting. Did
Yeah.
you just remember that?
No, I think about it often actually
Weird.
because I'm like,
Well, that's bad.
what happened?
That's bad.
I know.
But something like that. Jamie says she has a popple, right?
Yeah.
Popple, QR codes, samples, scent circles with your
Information on it.
info on it.
Business
Knowledge.
cards.
Yeah, business cards, knowledge, right? Knowing like what to say when this happens.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I used to be a Scentsy consultant. Oh, that's so cool. Did you know that you can come back for free? Literally, all you have to do is log back into your workstation. I'd love to show you, right? Like
Yeah,
being
so-
prepared with what to say,
Yeah.
right? If someone asks you like, oh, what do you do for a living? Or like, oh, are you a stay-at-home mom? Like, what do you say, right? And like practice makes perfect. With
Yeah.
all of this,
Yeah.
practice makes perfect. Going and talking to someone, giving compliments, being intentional with meeting people, putting on your branding and like walking with your head out of your phone, right? All of this takes practice, okay? And preparation also takes practice, especially when you're preparing what you say, right? I can be a little nerve-wracking, but definitely worth the practice and the time to think about it so you are prepared when you have those situations, right? Fragrance specialist. I love that,
Yeah.
Jennifer. That's what I
Yeah.
say too. And I also mentioned that I lead a team
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
So, well, I say fragrance and home decor.
Yeah, that's what I say. I say I
Yeah.
work in fragrance and home decor.
Yes.
And then I follow up. Once I answer, I say I follow up and say, have you ever heard of Scentsy?
Yes. That's what I do too.
Yeah. Because then I get people being like, so you own your own. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like a good answer, right? Because it gets them intrigued. But like if you leave it at that, I feel like they're like,
Yeah, ask questions. I
Yeah.
think questions are a really, really amazing way to keep that going.
yeah. And a good way to get somebody to ask you what you do, if you're like really want to test it out, is ask them what they do.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, they will ask you
They'll follow
right
up.
back,
Yep.
what do you do? And you should do it as well, right?
Yes. Yes. And
Because like, what if they're like, oh, I'm in graphic design? Like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, like, I love that.
Yeah. Or it's like someone's like, yeah, I'm in graphic design. You're like, cool. You know, like there is room for more. And honestly, like it does take practice because there have been times where I walk away from a conversation and I'm like,
Not my best work.
I could have done better, you know,
Yeah,
like,
I've done
oh, I blew that one. And so
we all have those
it happens
moments,
to all
yeah.
of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. But the more that you talk about your business, the more that you give things out, like offer things.
No, I'm thinking about Katie. Katie's husband just had a hilarious story that she shared on her thing
I
about
missed it.
about in the grocery store. I can't explain.
Had to be there.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I wasn't even there, but it was
I
just
had to hear
funny.
Katie
You know,
tell
like
Katie.
those times where like people are like, "Thank you," and you're like, "Have a great day." It's like, "Thank you," or no, not thank you. Say
Like someone's like, happy birthday. You're like, you too.
So he was trying to say you're welcome, and then mid-sentence he goes he changes it to no problem. So he tells the lady you're a problem when he handed her like the thing that she needs.
No.
And then
You're like just suddenly shocked.
yeah.
That was so
Oh, that's
funny.
hilarious.
See, I had to have her. Thank you for coming on because I
You're
just
a
look like an
problem.
idiot. I just look like Phoebe when she was trying to explain something.
Oh, yeah. So that can happen also. Dude, I do that all the time. Like I combine two phrases and I'm like, that is not what I meant. I meant a little of this and a little of that.
Brain's working too fast.
Yes.
That's what happens.
So by being prepared, you maybe
Oh my
can't
gosh.
avoid that all the time because like we're human and we're funny creatures, but
And don't please, because we want to hear.
yeah,
about it.
tell us about it.
Yeah.
Pop on your stories and give us the tea.
Yeah.
But being prepared in these types of situations where you are out and about more, where you are wearing your Scentsy shirt, where your kids are going to school hyped up with their little buddy clip, or like on their stuffed animal day, they're bringing stuffed animals, or you know, you send scent circles with your kids on Fridays, or you give a compliment and it leads to a conversation. Being prepared with the next steps are going to be crucial because that's where you, Charisse, pull people into your customer group. That's where you give them a sample and get their number and follow up. That's where you offer to drop off a catalog to their home. That's where you do a number of things. Okay. That's where that opportunity can bloom, is when you meet that opportunity with preparation. Okay. And so I just want you guys to all be aware, and it looks different for all of us. Like, I don't use business cards, but I always have scent circles in my car with labels on them. I don't have a popple, but I have a QR code and can add people to my VIP group very quickly and easily, right? When someone asks me what I do, I can give them a well thought out that encourages something more than just like a dead end conversation. Because like Bree said, not all of these instances or opportunities are going to lead to a customer or a teammate. Okay. But connection is the core of our business, and connection is where we can really expand our business and grow. And so any form of connection is a really awesome opportunity to continue to build your business. And while this person might not be a customer, they might have someone looking for Scentsy in the future. They might be looking for a job opportunity in the future. You just never know the way that these interactions can blossom into something really great. And so being prepared when you do have these opportunities is going to set you apart and is going to be what takes it to the next level. I talk a lot about, or I guess not a lot, but occasionally I talk about this like funnel for your business, right? And so like the top of the funnel is just like where you're piquing interest, and it's where people start looking and seeing, right? But then it's like moving them in down the tunnel and into like your bubble, right? When you move people down, when you move people down into like the thinner part of your funnel and then into your bubble, that's where the magic happens. That's where you're texting them and following up. That's where they're in your customer group seeing your content. That's where you guys are having a text conversation after this in-person conversation, right? And so don't for a second underestimate your ability to get to that point. Okay. But it might take some trial and error. It might take some jumbled phrases. It might take some awkwardness. Like, trust me, you guys, I have had conversations where at the end of it, I feel like I blew it, or leading up to it, like my heart's pounding. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this scent circle to the cashier. Like, okay, what am I going to say? Okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You know, being prepared in these moments is going to, one, give you more confidence to do that, to go wear the Scentsy shirt, to have the conversations, to offer things, right? To ask questions. Practice makes improvements. I love that, Jennifer. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, super
we're
good.
Never going to be perfect.
We're never going to be perfect. We are just going to hurt ourselves by striving to be perfect. And so I love that, Jennifer. Thank you. That's so good.
Yes.
Okay.
Love that.
And so we talked about branding a little bit. We talked about being prepared. Okay. Here's the part. This is the part where people stop listening.
Yeah.
Or where they're like, nah, no, don't want to do it. Okay. This tip is to simply like do the things, get involved, like get your toes wet. Okay. Like we mentioned events or fundraisers or getting involved in your community a lot. And it's not for nothing, because that's really where you can build a name for yourself in your community. That's where you can meet a lot of people. That's where referrals come a lot easier when you are known in your community for being the Scentsy girl. Okay. Side note here. And it kind of goes with what Steffi was saying earlier with branding. And while I think other parts of your life are important to be branded, like for me, like I love plants, I love cats, like I love boho decor, but I am also that Scentsy girl. I am that Scentsy girl in my community. I am that Scentsy girl who takes her business seriously. I am that Scentsy girl who talks about Scentsy. I am that Scentsy girl who walks the walk and does the fundraisers and offers parties and drops off orders and is in my community. Like I am the Scentsy girl. I have other things that on social media pull people in, but on a local in-person level, being the Scentsy girl is what you need to be. And I think a lot of people hide behind social media and behind their insecurities of not wanting to be that girl. But I promise you, being confident in being a Scentsy consultant and being loud and proud about it and talking about it and sharing it and offering it. Yes, Jen, that's how you found me. I'm the Scentsy girl, right? Like I am loud and proud about what I do. And people take me seriously for that. When people think of Scentsy, they think of me for that. It's not because I only post about plants and cats and my kids.
Right.
It's because I post about Scentsy. I'm in my community with Scentsy. I'm the Scentsy girl. Okay. So when you're getting involved in your community, you don't necessarily have to go in guns a-blazing like I'm a Scentsy girl to go join your PTA or to, like get involved in something new like MOPS or a club that you're interested in or getting established in a church, right? Those aren't things that you have to go in guns a-blazing like I'm the Scentsy girl and I'm here to join the PTA. No. Okay. That's something that
that's not your space to do that. Right. That's not the space to do that.
Yes, it is icky.
Yeah.
So that is something that happens organically and through time and through conversation and connection and relationships and also a little bit of branding here and a little bit of preparation here and a little bit of offering here. Okay. But if you find yourself looking around your local community and you're like, I have no local customers. I have 5 customers that order from me again and again. You need to look around and see where you can get your toes wet. Okay. So there is opportunity to insert into your community in a very organic way and grow. And then as people add you on social media or the connection builds, they see, oh, you're that Scentsy girl. Like you are that Scentsy girl. And when I met you, you were super down to earth and you weren't shoving it down my throat. And it was really, really nice. Right. Okay. So that's really great. There's also opportunity if you are already established in a community like a church or your kid's school or a school team to amp up the Scentsy girl. Okay. I feel like if you are already established in a community in your, like in a smaller community in your community, you have the opportunity to approach someone and say, hey, do you guys have a fundraiser department or someone I can talk to about fundraisers? I sell Scentsy and I would love to earn some funds for your school or for this team or for this mission trip or whatever it may be, right? Because we have those opportunities of things that we can do further. Okay. But we have to get in there first.
Yeah. Let me address Jennifer's comment about, she said my community has too many of us, and not too long ago I was part of that community. So I know there are a lot of you. 2 things. One, if you feel that way, if you feel like your community has too many Scentsy consultants, Jen, I'm just going to speak to like your experience because I know that like all of you girls, here's the thing. Y'all are running in the same circle. So you look around and you go, oh my gosh, she's a consultant. She's a consultant. Everybody's a consultant.
Yeah, you guys are besties, which
right,
is so great.
Right. Yeah. No, it's great. But the thing is that now you need to get into other circles.
Yep.
Like you have to go outside of those circles.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that you have to recognize is the other circles that you're a part of, or even the same circles that you're running in, you need to be communicating with people who are not consultants and getting inside their circles.
Yep.
Right. And you do that by doing home parties. You do that by doing events. You network with other people. Right. It's very easy to get in this mindset of like, oh, it's so saturated. There's so many consultants. And I know you all love each other. So I know there's no
ill feelings.
Yeah,
there.
no, I know that. But it's a real thing. But the thing is that we can sit there and dwell on that, or we can sit back and realize that we live 45 minutes from each other, but the people that I am in circles with in my church or whatever, those people that I know have no idea who she is.
Yep.
Right. And the people that she's running around with have no idea who I am. And the deeper we dive into other people's circles, that's why when we talk about home parties, that's the beauty of a home party, is getting those people collectively together and booking other parties from those, because we're just getting our toes into every single that they're going to open the door to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time they open a door, boom, another circle of people that we have access to. Yep. Right. So it's getting in relationship with people and getting inside their circles. Mm-hmm. Right. we can have our core circles that we're a part of. I know a lot of you girls mops, and I know a lot of you girls it's church and all that stuff. And I get it, like 100%. But then you have to put yourself in other circles and build other relationships with people, for whatever reason, right? The reason for doing that can be tenfold. But if you get in there in any way, Scentsy wise, you've opened the door for a whole nother circle that Sharice doesn't have any access to,
Yep.
or Erica's not going to have any access to.
Yep.
Right. And that's not a competition mindset. That's business mindset.
Yes. And like, that was going to be what I say. It's
Yeah,
like,
okay, good.
this is a business. And at the end of the day, we are always having to grow our business and search for more and expand our business. We cannot just ride on our circle for years and years and years. It's impossible. Our business will dwindle down to nothing
Yeah.
if you are just simply relying on the people currently in your network. You have to be bold and know that I have to expand my business. And maybe this area is not comfortable for me, but I know that this area is where I haven't explored or what I need to do. And sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone and start doing things that you haven't done in the past,
Right.
or things that are a little bit hard for you.
Right.
And really, really amazing things happen there.
Yeah.
And so you just have to trust that you are working your business and you are being very intentional, and doing new things while they're out of your comfort zone are going to be amazing for you and your business and the levity of you being a Scentsy consultant. Because if I relied on the same people when I first joined, like, a lot of them are consultants now. And then the ones that aren't consultants aren't buying from me in the ways that they once were. And so you always are having to cycle through customers, and it is a cycle. And you do have to go find more.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where a lot of consultants pause,
Yeah.
or even stop,
Yeah.
is that this part. And that's why I said this is a part that people don't like to hear, because
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable to hear. I need to go get out in my community more. I need to go do more physical things with people. Because we have our comfort zones,
Yeah.
and we have our like cozy people that we love
Right.
hanging out with.
Yeah.
And like, I have a ton of Scentsy consultant friends too.
Yeah.
Like, when I
same.
go hang out with my friends, it's
Yeah.
like half of them or more are Scentsy consultants. And
And there's nothing wrong with that.
it just goes to show how powerful connection is,
Right.
and how amazing connection is. And those people are also out there who have not experienced it yet. Okay.
They're waiting on you.
They're waiting on you.
Yeah.
So take comfort in that, knowing that it's coming.
Right.
You just have to do the hard work to like step into that space.
Yep.
And be prepared and have branding and practice and show up. But a lot of it, again, is that like mindset. It's the mindset of like doing something that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
So as we step into the new year, like, let that be a focus for you, that we
Let that
have
be
to
a
do
goal.
things that are uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but it's necessary for growth.
Yeah, 100%.